Greetings, people of Earth. My name is Rob Wieland. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the host of Theater of the Mind Players, your friendly, local, actual play stream. We are gathered here tonight to play a very unusual tale. Tawny is hosting both parts of this particular collection. Fans of the show will remember that last year we played the game Aegon from John Harper and Sean Nittner. And it was Aegon is a mythic Greek RPG where you play heroes that are wandering from island to island, trying to find their way home and getting involved in adventures along the way. But for our first one shot of this season, we are sort of returning to that game in a thematic way, in that we are playing one of the hacks of that system called Storm Furies. John Harper has started to release things using the same rule set that he's calling the Paragon rule set. And one of the games that he has released is Storm Furies, which is a gritty sci-fi military fighter pilot drama that I don't even know what those are either.
3D printed nonsense.
Like those aren't even spaceships.
It's a ship.
Anyway,
and a lizard.
So we'll save those for our Spelljammer game. So for this one shot, we are delving into a sci-fi drama where everybody is going to be members of the Fury Squadron that is trying to protect and save the remnants of humanity from the robotic evil known as the Forged. If you haven't already figured out, this game is very heavily influenced by the Battlestar Galactica reboot, but it also pulls in elements from other sort of sci-fi pilot dramas and Top Gun, and basically anytime anybody that there's been drama where people get into a cockpit, that's a definite inspiration for this game, and that's one of the reasons why we decided to play this particular game. Reason one is because we're still remote. We all already kind of have the pilot look going down anyway. So we figured that it would be an excellent opportunity to play into that trope a little bit. And this was the game that we landed on playing. And the second reason is that this is actually a direct response to the designer, John Harper, who mentioned in an interview on Plot Points podcast that he thought it'd be really cool if a group of people who played Aegon would then return to the system playing characters who took their pilot call signs from their Aegon characters, which is what we're going to be doing here tonight. So now that we've talked about why we're playing this, let's talk about who is playing here tonight. What I would like from everybody as they introduce themselves is talk about introduce yourself, introduce your character, and if you may, talk about the reason why your Storm Furies character took the call sign based on your Aegon character. And the answer should not be because I just played the same character in a previous game. I'm looking for the in-universe justification of what cool thing were you like, wow, that was neat. I'm going to take that thing as my call sign. So let's begin with our first mind player.
Hello, my name is Sarah Babe. I go by she, they, please. And I am playing Commander Vanya Ryder, whose call sign is Thalia. Vanya didn't exactly pick her call name. She was sort of given it because Thalia Heartforger, and everyone gave it to Vanya because she was rumored to be sleeping up the ranks. So she is Thalia Heartforger.
All right. Jordan is already like, that wasn't a rumor. All right, let's go to our next mind player.
Hi, I'm Ethan Eichstedt Anderson, he, him, and I am playing Garth Starr, who is named after, or named call sign is Doman. He knows nothing about the history behind any of this stuff, but he was told that he was beautiful and strong.
Accuracy.
He also technically has the rank of flight sergeant, but I believe he is the only civilian member of the Bravo flight of the Storm Furies squadron. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct.
All right. I hope so. You made the character. Let's go to our next mind player.
Hi, folks. My name is Jordan Fishburne, she, her, and I will be playing Lieutenant Isabel Ina, also known as Izzy, going by the call sign Kyria. Besides being the best, which Kyria is,
Please support it.
She's actually taking a technician role, which deals very much in tinkering and doing those kinds of things, which was one of the domains of Kyria. She was very inventive and creative with technology and crafting. So she kind of fell into the Kyria call sign that way.
As I recall, Kyria was the member of the Aegon legend who was
annihilated
the best,
everybody else.
We'll fucking take you down, bitch.
Bring it.
I can only safely say this because we're all working from home, technically. So I'm kind of milking it. I apologize.
Like Jordan's
No,
like,
you don't.
yeah, the headphones, but I also get to talk shit for the next 3 hours.
Oh, don't worry, we'll remember.
I don't actually apologize, Tawny's
But what I was going to say, Izzy seems to have kind of fallen from grace a little bit, as we discussed in our session 0.
Yes, she fell from a higher rank position, probably something closer to commander or captain, down to lieutenant, from going a little too hard on the inventiveness and not as hard on the listening to her superiors and being safe about it. So
That must suck.
There are two flights of Storm Fury, of Stormcraft. There was Flight Alpha, Flight Bravo. Which flight were you demoted from being the leader of? Bravo is the one that everybody here is involved in, but I wanted to give you the option of which one you wanted to. Basically, it kind of boils down to, did Thalia replace you, or were you her peer as the leader of the other squadron?
I think it was closer to me being her peer. So they demoted me and moved me over because they wanted to remove any potential memory of following my commands as well as the demotion. So people won't automatically fall back into just following what I say. You know, so they did a lateral and diagonal move.
and as we all know, that sort of maneuver always works, and there's never any sort of loyalty conflict when that happens.
course not.
So you are replaced by Captain Prospero, who is now the leader of Flight Alpha.
Prospero.
I feel like I don't like him.
Dude, I don't fucking
He
like
was
him.
probably fine.
Well, you're going to get to meet him, so it's going to be great.
We'll see.
Let's go to our next Mind Player.
Is that me?
Yep.
Hi. I'm Tony.
Professional play here on Theater of the Mind Players.
I be Tony. He, him. I am playing Warrant Officer Alex Winter. And I named him that because I wanted anybody who Googled Bill and Ted to stumble across this video.
That's exactly what's going to happen, yeah.
Also, the name Alex and Winter was in the character name selection, so you have nobody to blame but yourself, Storm Furies. He is going by the call sign Polybius. The reason being is because he heard of the epic tale of him taking down the flying harpies and thought to himself, well, I'd like to take out some flying harpies of my own. Plus, why not? Let's throw it in. He also did a 23andMe and found out that he might be related. So,
Nice.
I guess in this universe, 23andMe probably does go back all the way to ancient Greece. Okay, sure.
They just lie. I mean, they just say, "Oh, you might be."
technology
You may or
got
may
way
not
better in the
be.
future.
That's a pretty classic bit. I mean, that's what seers and mediums would do to get the rich folks to give them money. Is like, oh yes, you are a great grandson of Joan of Arc. Please pay for my seance so you can contact her.
Please pay for my
my
dance
God.
lessons.
Right. And let's go to our final Mind Player.
Hello, friends. I am Tawny P. Thompson, she, hers, and I will be playing Lieutenant Victoria Moretti, call sign of Pasiphae. And I think that Vic picked Pasiphae because Vic has always been kind of a quieter, like more reserved, like hang out on the walls and listen to what's going on. But she's always really wanted to be the person who is louder and more robust. And Pasiphae has gone through the ages. Pasiphae has gone through the ages as someone who stood up for herself and for those around her. So that's what Vic wants to aspire to, but isn't great at.
All right. Well, now that we have the player character members of Bravo or Flight Bravo of the Storm Fury Squadron,
Real quick question.
yeah,
Tony, you were the chief warrant officer?
no, Tony was just a warrant officer. So I was just about to go through the other members of the squadron.
Gotcha.
So Fury Squadron has 2 flights, Alpha and Bravo. Flight Alpha, which Kyria used to be the leader of, is now led by Captain Prospero. And it is made up of Lieutenant Pagos, Chief Warrant Officer Locke, Warrant Officer China, and Flight Sergeant Calypso, with Lieutenant Andros flying in support in the Vulture craft. As for Flight Bravo, it is led by Commander Thalia.
I'm sorry, who was the flight sergeant again?
Flight Sergeant Calypso.
Thank you.
The Flight Bravo is led by Commander Thalia. Then there's Lieutenant Pasiphae, Chief Warrant Officer Ariel, Warrant Officer Polybius, Flight Sergeant Domon, and then supported in the other Vulture by Lieutenant Kyria. And those are the characters that are gathered in the flight briefing room of the Tempest as we begin our tale. There is the sound of attention, which is sort of the naval, Yeah, Foley, baby. And all of the pilots stand at attention, and in walks Admiral Strand at the front of the briefing room. Strand is, for somebody bearing the title of Admiral, Strand looks far too young. Yet the burden of command has weighed heavily on him. He looks like he needs a shave and like 3 days off.
A week off backpacking.
Right. He wears the Admiral coat, and it doesn't fit him quite right. It looks maybe just a little too big. And as he walks to the podium, he surveys everybody, and you can tell, even though he's been giving these briefings for a while now, he still grips the top of the podium a little nervously. All right, at ease, everyone. And he hits a couple of buttons on the podium, and a vector laser briefing chart appears behind him. At 15:20 hours, Lieutenant Booth picked up a signal that we recognized as a human Commonwealth distress signal. The encoding is military. Now, we've thought that we've been the last ship of the fleet for a long time. So to say this was a surprise is to understate it. We have just jumped into the system, or into I think it was, one moment. We've just jumped into the Torvus system to investigate. Flight Alpha, you're going to be flying security on our deck to make sure that while we investigate, we aren't jumped by anybody, or that the Forge don't pop in system and break up this particular family reunion. Flight Bravo, you're the ones who get to figure out if this signal is real, or if it's just a speaker duct taped to a drone. Now, our initial scans of the system makes it look like that we're going to that you're going to have to make your way through some black skies to get to the location of the distress signal. So we're going to be sending out everybody in the squadron, and that includes you, Izzy.
Sir.
We want. I know that you have a. I know that you've probably. I know that you have modified your vulture for in this case, and I'm hoping that whatever modifications that you've put on that thing, including the ones that you haven't told me about, will be able to detect this early enough that we can decide if it's friend or foe.
If there's something out there that can detect it, I bet it's on my ship. So we'll get it done.
All right.
Sir, did it give any indication of which ship we're looking for?
We haven't been able to identify anything beyond the signal because it's because of the weakness and because of the black skies that's been interfering with any sort of decoding. But we think it's probably it's not going to be a stormcraft out there. We think it's probably something bigger.
Are we anticipating any people?
Interference.
Distance.
That's one of the reasons why we're sending the Vulture out there, because if they're survivors, they're probably pretty hard off. And we want to bring them back, and we'll want to bring them back aboard to take a look at them.
Understood, sir.
All right. I want the commanders to stay. The rest of you pilots can get suited up and get ready to launch.
For a
Yes,
second,
ma'am.
Izzy doesn't move. And then she's like, oh, right. And then she moves back.
I think just to rub it in a little bit, I think Thalia is gonna just say, Lieutenant, prep your craft.
Vic
What was that?
absolutely like salutes and out.
You
Alex
heard her,
is already
Vic. And I start
gone.
following Vic out.
When
Just let it fly past me. I don't even acknowledge it.
after it's just the commanders, Strand takes a little more of a relaxed stance and actually sits down at one of the front row seats of the pilot where the pilots sit. So I'm telling you this because I don't need to broadcast this to the rest of the crew. Our Uru supplies are dangerously low. We have enough for 1 or 2 jumps. And I'm trying to keep one at least as an emergency jump in case we accidentally stumble across some forged. So if there is a ship out there, we need to quickly assess whether or not it has materials that we can use, and Uru is the top priority. Because if we can't jump, we can't run.
Understood. We'll take everything we can that's usable.
All right.
Would you put fuel above survivors? For priority.
Damn.
Prospero says, I think that's what the Admiral is saying, isn't it? And Strand leans back, and you can see, like, when he sits back, you can see that there is a blood stain in the Admiral's coat that still hasn't quite come out yet, even after it's been washed a couple of times. That just spreads up the side of the coat. Prospero's right. If we have to stay mobile because it's up to us, and that's assuming that there's anybody alive on that ship. If we basically, whoever you can fit on Kyria's Vulture, if it's more than that, I don't know. Draw some straws, figure it out. That's why you're the squad leader now, Thalia.
We'll make it work.
All right. So we cut to the dramatic launch sequence montage of the pilots running with helmet in hand as their stormcraft, lower down from the ceiling, and the deck chief Haskell, barking orders at everybody. I think Deck Chief Haskell is like 5'1", and
Been there.
and the pilots are absolutely terrified.
They should be.
Pilots are absolutely terrified of her.
They should be.
Yes.
Because
I like her already. She's my favorite person.
Because she has a nasty habit of, if she needs to get in somebody's face, she will climb up the side of one of the ships and hang on the gantry ladder that goes into the cockpit to make sure that she gets face to face with somebody who screws with one of her ships. So she is barking orders and screaming at pilots and come on, you sticky jockeys.
Haskell, my pilot's behaving?
Never. You need to. You're spoiling the rod, or you're sparing the rod, and you're spoiling the children. Thalia.
Hey, I think we have an understanding, Haskell. Come on.
Was I talking to you, Pasiphae? The only thing I want to hear out of you is the only thing I want from you is to bring back my bird in the shape that you took it out. All right?
You know I always try.
Yeah. Try. Do you know how many photon thrusters I had to put in that thing?
I move quick.
Well, then get your ass in the bird.
She only moves quick when she's in the bird.
the cockpit, the cockpit's locked down, and we see pilots. So let's do a quick curl around of what is the shot of you like right before the launch? Like, what do you do? Do you say a prayer? Do you like adjust your gloves? Do you put a photo of a loved one onto the onto the thing for luck? Let's start with Pasiphae.
I think Pasiphae is super serious. She literally gets in and is just checking all of the levels, checking all of the gauges, making sure everything's working. She flips a couple things on and off to make sure they're good to go, and then just takes a moment of absolute silence.
Okay. Domon.
He sits down and one by one hits every bobblehead on his dash.
I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and Polybius.
I think that he's very he is kind of one with his ship. So I kind of feel like he kind of talks to his ship as though it's like Arthur talking to his horse in Red Dead.
Come on, girl.
Exactly. So he's he's almost encouraging the ship, like, we got this, girl, as if like it's alive.
Oh, perfect. I love it. Izzy.
So she thumbs at the scar on her face as she just talks through power sensor, power jam. Got this right. Okay. And she like lists out all of the stuff that she's like checking it over. And it's always like almost right to the wire before like the countdown starts. And she, focus and centers.
Thalia walks down the line of craft. Pat, 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 pat on each craft as she goes to get into hers. She gives a pat, pat, pat to hers, jumps in the cockpit, says, "Come on, let's do this, Sousa." Pulls out her locket, opens it, gives it a kiss, puts it back in. If you might have been quick enough to see who the picture of is in there, you might understand why they call her Heartforger. And she, boom, off.
All right.
The picture was of the general.
Yeah.
Sorry.
General Strand.
I realized I didn't make that clear. So
super subtle, Sarah. I love it.
Subtle.
All right. Tempest. Tempest Flight Bravo. It looks like you are go. Good hunting, everyone. Here is your first threat. Now, for those of you who don't remember, what I do is I take a number of dice based on the type of threat, and I roll them to set the target number that everyone else has to roll against. So the black skies are arduous, which means that if you fail, you have to spend a charge should you suffer. So I'm rolling 3d6 from my fancy dice. I so love the fact that this is yet again a game where I get to roll dice.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, dice. And it we are looking at a hard 11. So, who amongst the pilots of Flight Bravo will face this threat? Now, in original Aegon, this would be the part where you gather your dice and boast it. I feel like for Storm Furies, it should maybe be a little more radio chattery of like you radioing into the Tempest to tell them what you're doing.
For career, we're at about this operating system maximum alpha. No.
Oh God, please
that sounds awful.
Yeah, no.
Via ears, so that's not it.
I'm like this.
Breaker.
Do we know what this challenge is?
It's actually going to be an operations check because it is reconnaissance. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take your call sign die, your roll die, plus your systems die, plus any dice that you wish to spend. If you spend a charge, you get to add a D4 after the roll. You can spend bonds to basically ask for assistance from other pilots. Everybody should have one bond with every other pilot. And yeah, so then we roll. We see who suffers, who prevails, and who is best.
Thalia in the pipe, 5x5.
Yeah.
Pacific the Scout will also take on this challenge.
Until I overtake all of you guys in glory.
Bring it on, bitch.
In this one episode, I would be impressed if I managed to do that. Yeah. Is Polybius and Domon?
Yes.
Oh, I Doman.
Okay.
If you can choose to sit back and support, which means you give your dice to somebody else. That means that you won't suffer. Should that you don't have to worry about suffering, but you only get one glory. And I hope you roll high because 11 is not going to be an easy one to hit.
I'm gonna toss in some burn on
I
this one.
too am.
We don't add up all the dice. We only take the top two and then add the charge.
Plus whatever D4 if you spend on a charge. So
perfect. Okay.
your target is 11. Go ahead, Flight Bravo. Let's see how you do.
All right,
Yes,
who's going to dice jail?
Jeez, using that so soon?
No, I remember. I get to ask this. I'm still going to ask it this way because that's the most fun part of playing Aegon is who. All right, is everybody rolled? The target is 11. Who suffers?
Pasiphae suffers.
Iria suffers.
Who prevails?
Polybius prevails.
Who is best?
Oh,
So who rolled an 11?
I did.
Who rolled a 12? Who rolled a 13? All right.
Ethan, you need to talk because this is also podcast.
Is
We were thumbs upping.
Thalia
is
prevails.
best.
Doman had a
Holy
12.
crap.
So what did Pasiphae, what did you have?
Oh, sorry.
I had an 8.
I had a 10.
Okay. So,
And
for those of you, so what happens when we decide who suffers, who prevails, who is best? We go in ascending order of the roles, and the players describe what happens, and basically they get to describe how they succeed, how they fail. So what I think is going to happen here is that
We're all going to laugh at Kyria.
man,
Pasiphae failed more than I did. I'm just going to
Yeah.
point that out.
But you failed.
I did fail, but she failed more. That's all I care
I'm
She's
about.
going to be
saying.
quiet about her failure. Hush.
this
It's
is
about, you can't be quiet. We all have to walk through what the hell we did.
Sure, but she's not going to be obnoxious about it like other people.
this
I'm
is gonna-
never obnoxious about my failure.
we're not going to be
only
able
my
to
success.
post this if you guys actually psychically kill each other. Like, it's just going to be. There's going to be a scanners pop, and then fade to black, and then we'll be back
But
next.
we couldn't finish the episode, guys, because we have to go witness a murder.
My
here.
awesome was too awesome.
All right. So let's start with Pasiphae.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what exactly was the problem that we were coming up against.
Oh, yeah, what were you doing?
So the black skies are swirling gases that block sight and signal.
Okay.
So
I think
it's very conceivable that there could be like debris or other things in this. Basically, you're going into a space fog bank.
Okay. So I think Pasiphae goes in trying to use her claw system, because that's the one I picked, to shoot some weapons into some of the various debris to break it up. And just like her systems aren't calibrated the same way they were the last time she went out, and it just trips her up real bad. And it's
So does she
flying.
miss, or does she shoot up some debris that pops off and possibly accidentally hits somebody?
Let's go with that one, because I failed really bad.
Okay.
So
All right. Kyria, you're up.
So she has the sensors rolling on her owl flight system here in the Vulture. And it's doing some pinging, and she's trying to maneuver around some of the debris coming up here. She gets knocked with something that started moving unexpectedly, potentially because of firing from another thing, and it unaligns the angle of it, and now the calibrations are off.
Oh no! Did it unalign the
Catalytic converter,
the-
the hydromatic.
Did you pick that ship because it runs good on regular gas?
and now you've got diesel.
Yeah.
The tachyon strobe modulator. Yeah. Okay.
But now, since she's so heavily reliant on sensors normally in her flight, she keeps clipping stuff, trying to get through the cloud because the calibration's just off, and she's starting to get really irritated as she just hears bah, 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 on the hull of the ship.
Okay.
You just had it washed, too.
So, who prevails?
Speak with your words.
Polybius prevailed.
Okay, so you got an 11, then Domon had a 12, and then
Yep.
Thali had a 14. So,
13, but yes.
but okay, Polybius, you're up.
So I think that Polybius takes the initiative to drive straight into the cloud and unleashes a large exhaust, which pushes dust and cloud apart, creating sort of a
Like a wedge.
yeah.
Like
It creates a sort of opening so that people can kind of see through the other side.
Nice. I like that. Flight Sergeant Domon.
So at Alicia's school for space flight for actors and other industry types, they didn't go over
For
censored
actors
as
and
well.
other rich people, we
They didn't go over too much, the censors and that kind of stuff.
for actors and other fancy types.
I used a charge to put extra power into my sensors just by hitting the sensor button. And then I used some burn to switch over to tactical instead of using my operations. And I just drove straight through that opening that Polybius made as deep as I could to try to see if I could get anything if I got closer.
Okay.
As deep as you could, huh?
Yes.
Deep and fast.
With my hammer.
Don't worry, he lubed up the ship. It's fine.
The
He
hammer
really
is
got it
never
into
mind.
that opening.
All right, Thalia. Tell us how you find the ship.
Hey. Why are you putting on
Hey.
glasses too? Okay. Thalia will take a little bit of quite a bit of power from her power and ramp up her lights and mess with the fuel that she uses a little bit to make it actually burn. So while it burns past her, she's actually burning the exhaust that Polybius left behind to actually make it clear skies, and will power up the lights that are on her ship a little bit better to blink in a rhythmic way so everybody can see it through the dark.
All right.
And I'll just go, Bravo squad, switch to visual, look for the lights.
And sure enough, Thalia's stormcraft streaks past a dented but intact hull that all of Flight Bravo recognizes as a ship from the Lost Fleet. It is as a matter of fact, it is a storm cruiser that now that you are close enough into the black cloud to see it, you're able to pick up the IFF signal that recognizes it as Storm Cruiser Trident. So you hear Flight Bravo, Tempest Actual. Did you see? Did you find something?
Bravo, we have a visual. It's Storm Cruiser Trident.
Jeez.
Do any of us recognize that name, Rob?
Yeah. Presumed loss of all hands.
So was this Trident owned by our NPC's father?
Ariel, shut the fuck up.
Thank you, Ethan.
Ethan, I'm gonna kiss you on your face. I swear to God.
I'll do that later.
Yes.
For you, Rob, in your stead.
What? Okay. Just make sure to tape some cat fur to your face for the authentic experience. Yes. Okay.
Will do. Can do.
My dad said says Ariel. That's my dad's ship.
Ariel, keep it cool.
And so now we record glory. So whoever suffered, you take 1 glory. You also have to you also have to spend a charge of something.
Mm-hmm.
For those who prevailed, like I believe, isn't it? Prevailed was half
As
glory.
many. Oh yeah, half glory, and then you got the full glory. If
and
you
then
were
best is full glory.
I remember that very clearly.
Or is it full and double?
No, highest. Not the roll. It's the target number. So Thalia gets 11. Polybius and Domon get 6.
Because it rounds up.
Okay. Then we get 1, Tawny,
Yeah.
Pasiphae, and Kyria.
Mm-hmm.
We got this. It's fine.
You may also choose, if you don't want to spend that charge, to spend one of your bonds instead to avoid spending that charge.
I'm gonna burn my bond with Kyria because apparently my dust messed up her ship.
I'll do that too.
No. They say how they defend you, and neither of you suffer the harm. So basically, if you burn that bond, you both don't have to spend the charge.
Okay. Yeah, that works. If you're burning the bond, I'm going to go ahead and use some of the countermeasures on Claw. The sensor port got knocked, but I do still have some automatic countermeasure weapons that are good for debris spray, more fine particles to get out. And it has an automatic laser response that then started to clear us up a little bit and do its best to stop us from scratching up our paint job.
All right. Now, in addition to the usual thing, there is a small rules wrinkle that Storm Furies adds. Whenever the player's pilots take harm while flying with the squadron takes harm as well. But because you spent that bond, you avoided the harm.
No harm.
No foul.
No foul.
Just to see what might have happened. I'm going to roll this dice to see who would have taken harm. Just to see. Just to see. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I'll tell you
damn it,
who that
Rob.
would have been after we take our first break. We'll be back for the second part of Storm Furies right after this.
Woo! Wow.
Congratulations, fellow human! You've reached the end of an exciting episode of Theater of the Mind Players. If you enjoyed our story, please like the video. If you want more games, subscribe to our channel. Attack the bell for notifications on new posts. If you liked the episode, please tell us what you enjoyed the most in the comments. If you loved the episode, consider joining our Patreon. You'll get access to special shows, session zeros, and help us determine what we play on the show. We love our friends of Pat Rayon, and we hope to see you there.